The Orange Open Conference plays strong, quite possibly the best all-around game of the year so far for the Orange, rolling past the Chokies at the Dome, holding Virginia Tech to a season-low 56 points. Plus, we turn to Joe for his preview of the Georgia Tech game upcoming. Let's go.
I need you to get up out your seats right now. This is Syracuse basketball.
Make some noise, Orange fans. It's time for the Cuse Nation podcast with Sean and Joe. Give us a like on Facebook at facebook.com/Cuse Nation podcast.
All right, what's up, Cuse Nation? Thanks for tuning in to episode 47 of the Cuse Nation podcast with Sean and Joe. We can be found on iTunes, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, Google Play Music, YouTube, and SoundCloud. I'm Sean, alongside my good buddy Joe. Joe, Happy New Year, brother.
Oh, Happy New Year, Sean.
Thanks. Did you give anything up? Did you end up giving anything up? No? I gave up drinking beer during the week.
Oh, yeah?
No.
Then you just broke it.
What have I done? No, I didn't.
I gave up New Year's resolutions.
There you go. That's a good all around one. All right. Look. The Hokies. You had me so worried about the Hokies. You had me so worried about Virginia Tech, Joe. So I was grinding my teeth all day waiting for this game, and then it was one of those ones where, you know, they kind of hung around a little bit, and then eventually, I think the defense prevailed. The Hokies averaging, 91 points a game. They fell short by like 35 points. They entered the game Sunday leading the nation in field goal shooting with 54.5%. Syracuse held them to 34%, 18 for 52. They were ranked 6th in the country in three-point shooting and only shot 33%, 10 for 30. I mean, so we won the game. We controlled the entire game from start to finish, I would say. Maybe a little bit iffy in the beginning, but all around SU controlled that game. So what was better for you, the offense or the defense? What won the game? That's two different questions.
Defense.
Yeah.
And defense.
Exactly, right? I mean, it was great to see him score, but the defense, like their defense is, I almost regret to say phenomenal, but that was a phenomenally played defensive game against a really good offense. And it just goes to show, I mean, how many times have we said it, Joe? If Syracuse can score, their defense is going to win them these close games. This one really wasn't even that close. 12 points?
No, like you said, it was close early. There was a point when they came out right in the second half and ran. They caught up real fast.
They nailed 3 threes back to back to back.
Right.
And it got him back in the game quick. Right at the start of the second half. It looked ugly for a second, and they gathered their wits about him, and then they carried on. They did what they did at the middle to the end of the first half and took control again. The other thing, too, is that Blackshear, I mean, who's like their star player, really.
Right. Well, he's but he's the star player with height.
With height. Well, he's the only one with height, and the next one's 6'6".
And he was in foul trouble all game.
Yeah, he was in foul trouble quick.
What do you have, 13 games? Or 13 minutes, I mean?
14 minutes, yeah.
Yeah. So that's one of the reasons, like you said, I mean, such an early sample size with the non-conference, you really never know how good other teams are. So you can really only go by stats and how they just play their games. Like last week when I was reading about it, you know, they did talk about the 3-point percentage that they made, but you know, we also did talk about the fact that they didn't shoot a lot of them. You know what I mean? So it was pretty obvious that their offense, I mean, they run, they try to go up tempo, but also, I mean, they are predicated on shooting the two first, going to the rim, shooting the two, making it around the basket, because they were one of the more efficient teams as far as 2-point field goals and finishing around the rim too.
Right.
In the, AC.
We beat them there too, 28-14, points in the paint.
Right. Well, that's what it was. I mean, you don't have. I'm not to say that Blackshear was going to be the guy, but
it's a big difference, though.
It was a big difference, and he didn't get the minutes, but I also thought that there was going to be other players that they could have put at the free throw line that could have made those jumpers or those passes. And, I mean, a lot of times those teams are teams that, that have experience, that have played against that 2-3 zone. I mean, it's not the same 2-3 zone as the last couple of years, though, so albeit that is a factor. But Buzz Williams has played against the 2-3 zone for how many years? In between the Big East and the ACC and stuff like that, and I didn't see any evidence of that whatsoever. They weren't getting the lobs behind the zone. They weren't getting it to the middle of the zone and making shots, and they weren't getting it to the middle and making passes down to the baseline and getting easy. I mean, that's how teams usually beat the zone. And then when that happens, that's when they can kick out the three because you're making that zone shift to what you're doing. And to me, it was pretty obvious that Virginia Tech, although they are a good three-point shooting team, they are not a team where that's their first. That's their go-to. Their go-to is up-tempo defense, fast break points, finishing around the rim, and then forcing the defense to collapse. And then that's when they get the kick-out threes. And the fact that they have so many players that have the option to shoot that three as well. So it does make them a dangerous offense. But like we said, Blackshear with foul trouble, and that was the guy that with height. So, I mean, we did dominate the rebounds and the offensive rebounds and stuff like that. And who knows how much of a difference that did make, but again, they still didn't have, that guy that they could put at the free throw line to make that basket or that pass. So it was just a lot of just passing around the outside and shooting. So it worked for us.
Slowed the game way down, and we were talking after the game, and the point was made that they did all the easy things, man. They finished at the rim real well. Putbacks were going down. They made layups. I mean, all the little things that they've just have been having a really hard time to put together so far this year. They did. Chuku did pick up 2 quick fouls. Well, kind of quick. Within 10 minutes, he picked up 2 bad ones. That's the thing, and those are the ones. Those are the ones that really suck. The over the back foul. You just got to know when to not do that. It's one of those fouls too. It's black and white.
Oh, yeah. If your arms aren't straight up and there's contact with the arms, then they're going to call it every single time. And he's 7'2", so really it shouldn't be an issue. He should know. And again, as much as, after that Virginia Tech game, I was reading that I think Ken Pomeroy has Syracuse, as far as defensive efficiency, he's 16th best in the country, and like you said, it's all the little things. We blocked the most shots at the highest rate. We're the tallest team. Well, I don't know about with Sidibe out, maybe not, but we're up there in offensive rebounds. All the hustle stats. We cause turnovers, we get steals. It's a lot of effort. A lot of defense's effort. Those getting on the ground and getting those rebounds and hustling like Doje and Moyer and pretty much everybody. It's a lot of it is just effort, and that's how we're going to win games. Is just not settling for the jump shots and going to the hole and getting to the line like Brissett's averaging 10 free throws a game.
Yes,
that's
that's beautiful. Hold on right there. Hold that thought, because I was just about to say that driving to the basket and creating fouls, and it's obviously a bonus if it goes in. Syracuse ranks 24th. Nationally in free throw rate. That's the stat that compares how many free throws a team attempts compared to how many field goals they attempt. They have taken so far this season 98 more free throws than their opponents.
Yeah.
So, and obviously their opponents, most of the ones we have faced, have beat us on the floor. Syracuse from the floor against Virginia Tech, 48.9 to Virginia Tech's 34.6. Threes were exactly the same. We went 5 for 15. They went 10 for 30. They average about 20. They like you were saying, their first option is a easy 2. They only average about 21 3-pointers in a game. And also from the line, we went 85% to their 55.5, which is, you can't win games from the line, if you're going to the line, that 55.5%. So, we beat them everywhere, pretty much. Yeah. Any major stat, we crushed them on. And you mentioned Sidibe real quick, as far as being one of the longest teams in the nation. You know, if that counts with him or without him, if it makes any difference at all. A little note of optimism on that. No, yes, it does. But a little note of optimism on that is that he was dressed for the game.
Right.
I mean, I don't know what that means. Would they have put him in if they needed him? You know, in a close game, would they have risked that? I don't know, but I guess that's a good sign. He wasn't in warm-ups. So.
Right. No, I think he's probably sitting on a bench with an imaginary break glass if emergency sign.
Yeah, right.
That's like I said, what I said before. There's no reason to force playing upon him. If he was past the situation where he couldn't redshirt anymore, then by all means, give him whatever minutes, you know, tinker, messing around. If he can only play 5-10 minutes, whatever he can give, then, you know, it is what it is. But because he's in the situation he's in now, it's kind of, you know, it's kind of up in the air. I just hope that there's not, before he's 100%, that there's not a situation or a game where Boeheim feels like he has to put him in and kind of ruin that situation. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's exactly what that's exactly where I'm at too. So, I mean, hopefully it won't, like you said, hopefully it won't come down to that.
No. But there comes a time in the season too, as well, where you start to get your rotation and you get the rotations in the lineups and the team are starting to gel together, and you got a guy that can, you know, maybe barely finish a practice, or, you know, he's not, you know, doing as much in practice, and then all of a sudden, you know, there just comes a time where you want to have your final rotation, unless it's going to be somebody who can definitely, no matter what, come in and make your team better. So again, I mean, I look at it like you let him sit, you let him get as healthy as he can possibly be, and not until he's 100% and can go through practices with no pain, you know, a week full of practices, whatever, then don't play him.
Yeah.
So
Frank Howard. Just a couple quick mentions. Frank Howard, again with 5 turnovers, but he did complete the best sequence of the game, and that was that slick little pass to Moyer, or I don't know if it was a slick pass or if Moyer just happened to grab it and go up for the dunk, and then in transition, Virginia Tech missing a 3. And I think it was Brissett got the rebound down to Battle, and Battle pull up down to Howard, and Howard shot a pull-up 3 and made that. They got the dome rock, and that was awesome.
Oh, yeah.
It was awesome.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So,
and that's what can happen, and that's, you know, that's what I was talking about before with being able to take it to the hole, and pretty much them understanding that, you know, with confidence and with winning these games, the offense is going to come. There's going to be games where we shoot good. There's going to be games where we shoot bad. But as long as the effort on defense is there, the effort on the boards, getting offensive rebounds, second chance points, forcing turnovers, and getting fast break layups and fast break points when you can, with the blocks and everything like that. Like when our offense is on those nights where we are hitting, it's going to be a situation where we could probably beat anybody. You know what I mean?
Which is accrediting the defense.
100% crediting the defense.
Yeah.
And like I said before, with the amount of experience on this defense, I only look at it like the sky's the limit.
I agree. Because if they could score
at this point in the season, when you play some of these teams, like Virginia Tech, very experienced, and they've seen this zone.
And they're well coached.
Yeah.
You know.
So,
and who would have known that Buzz Williams had air?
Right, but they do what they need to do to win the games. They go to the line. They go and there's another sneaky advantage as far as that goes too, because the more fouls and the more free throws, the more rest your team's getting. There's no secret that we pretty much got probably 3 guys that are going to be looked at to probably play the whole game in good games. In games where we need them.
Yeah.
So any rest you can get to slow the game down, anything like that, is definitely a benefit to us, but also, like I said, just the effort. With Moyer and Merrick playing like that, and Chukwu, if he can just get his foul troubles, he's got his free throw troubles in line. If he can get his foul troubles in line, then
like Joe, it shouldn't be hard. It shouldn't be hard. The amount of over the back fouls this guy has, he has just got this bad habit of just reaching in front of people like that.
I think he's so tall he can't see some of the players sometimes. He just thinks he's going up for an over rebound, and all of a sudden he bumps into somebody. Like, what's going on? Plus with those goggles, half the time he doesn't even look like.
Oh my gosh!
You know what I mean?
It might kill some of his vision.
No, I mean if you watch him, it's like every time they put a camera to him, he's like pulling the goggles away and like looking with his own eyes to see if it's really what he saw. Almost like I don't know what's up with him, but
yeah, I wonder. That's a good point. I never really noticed that, but I always do see him messing with those damn goggles.
Oh man. Yeah. And he's got to wear them because,
I mean what's wrong with some safety glasses, with a strap?
Well, I mean, come on.
Well, he's not swimming for crying out loud. It's basketball. It looks like he's ready to do the breaststroke.
The safety goggles? Really?
I mean, what the hell?
What are we worried about OSHA?
Hey, whatever happened to the masks? The masks, they're for the nose, right? Those masks?
Masks are for the nose, yeah.
Oh, okay.
He had a detached retina, so therefore...
Oh, yeah, he had an operation on it.
Oh, yeah. He can't, get hit anywhere near the eye at all.
Yeah.
The messed up part about it is that it fully got detached last year in a play where he got hit in the head with a pass because he didn't see it coming. And that was without goggles. So...
Damn.
I'm thinking we just got to get this guy to an eye doctor.
No
I don't think
kidding.
anybody's...
Put the old glass one in, Chuka. What the hell? I mean, why waste time?
The old glass eye trick?
Yeah,
No,
exactly. Scare the kids on Halloween type stuff.
But at the end of the day, even though he had 0 points in these other games, he's gotten to the line. He's obviously a presence in the middle of the paint. So, and it looks every game more and more like our defense is starting to understand the responsibilities and what they're supposed to do. And it became pretty evident pretty early that unless Virginia Tech was going to be on fire from the three-point line, that they didn't have what they needed offensively to crack that defense. So
yeah, I think
it was definitely a good win. And like I said, I'm sorry that I made nervous anybody else nervous about the game. I'm sorry, but that was just one of those things where
we didn't know. Well, we didn't know. We haven't seen regular competition yet, and we just didn't know.
Right.
You didn't know how they were going to react.
It's still tough to gauge where teams are. So
yeah, we'll know more. You've nailed a couple. I'll let you slide by in that.
Oh, thanks.
You've nailed a couple. All right. So, I guess let's do this before you do, and we're gonna we might throw in the Notre Dame preview. Okay. So we'll do Wake, and we'll do the Notre Dame preview because it's a quick turnaround. We can't. I mean, the quick turnarounds. I mean, they're quick, and
oh yeah, you get those little lulls. I mean, sometimes we go a week and a half where we have a game every 2-3 days, and then turn around and we won't have a game for a whole week. So This just happens to be one of those weeks where I feel like we have like a game every 3 days for like the next week and a half.
It feels like that because we do.
No, wow.
So if you look at the schedule. All right.
How ironic.
So let's just do ACC power rankings real quick. At 15, we got Georgia Tech. That's our next opponent. Joe will go over that in a second.
Nope.
14, Pittsburgh. Yes. Oh,
it's
I'm
Wake
sorry.
Forest,
I'm sorry. Wake Forest. What did I say? Georgia Tech. 13 is Wake Forest. That's our next game. 12, NC State. You're really screwing me up now. 11, Boston College. 10, Louisville. My brother, I was talking to my brother today about Louisville. He said they're overrated. That they're only 10th on here. So
they are lacking scores.
Okay, well, they're lacking a coach too. I mean, they just got rid of an excellent coach. So I mean,
it's not like they had a choice.
Yeah, I know, but you can't tell me that isn't going to affect that team and recruiting down the road. 8, Notre Dame. That is our second opponent coming up. 7th is Syracuse, up 2 spots from 9. 6 is Florida State. I watched them play Duke, and my head was spinning. That game was like ridiculous. Worries me. Duke,
great defense, right, in that game?
Oh, yeah. Awesome defense. It's like 192 or something like that. 5, Clemson. UVA at 4. Miami at 3. North Carolina at 2. I think they're overrated at 2, big time. And Duke at 1. The only one I really have a problem with, and I don't know really who I would put there yet, but North Carolina at 2. I just don't think they're that good, and it's just my opinion. Just because I've watched them flounder quite a bit. They've barely won a couple of games. They just beat Wake Forest by 4, and they almost lost. They almost blew it.
No, a lot of turnover.
Yeah, well,
A lot of turnover, and they got the key piece with Barry at the guard and Theo Pinson, small forward. Like, those two guys are very experienced. They've been there. So
you got that dude that looks like he's 35 on there still. The
Luke May,
dark-haired guy.
dark-haired white guy.
Yeah.
Luke May, he's pretty solid. So you got some guys. It's just filling in the rest of the rotation. It's not they don't have the talent. It's just going to take time, and it's not like they don't have a bad record either. They already have some decent wins to their name. So
yeah, I'll tell you, Bagley, he's dynamite. Marvin Bagley the third from Duke.
Oh yeah,
yeah, he's
like just an example of why you should still be able to go to the NBA right out of high school.
Yeah, I guess.
Because I mean, how many games? I haven't seen Duke too much as far as a full game, but I pay attention, watch SportsCenter, go and look at the stats and stuff. There's already been like 7 games where I look at the stat line and I'm like, what?
He's a beast.
Dude, 32 points and 21 rebounds. Like, that's like,
it's crazy.
What is that? Who were they playing against?
Well, that's a good question, but that was against Florida
at Wake
State.
Forest. Florida State. Yeah, but Florida State's got some 7-footers.
They're long. They're long, yeah. That game, I'm surprised people didn't drop. They just never slowed down that game, never slowed down. So
yeah, well, the good thing about Duke and those teams and all the turnover is that they have to reteach playing against the zone, So really, I can just only hope that for some weird reason, Bagley doesn't know how to play against a 2-3 zone. And
I'm telling you, this defense is something different.
If we played man-to-man, then he'd have Chukwu fouled out in the first half, and he'd probably already have a double-double.
Well, Chukwu's falling out right now thinking about that game.
Oh, God. His goggles are already fogging up. So
no kidding. All right, Joe. Give me the Wake preview, and then we'll hit up Notre Dame.
Wake Forest.
Oh, Wake Forest, by the way, I'm sorry. It'll be, by the time you hear this, probably it'll be tonight, Wednesday. Wait a second. Yeah.
The game's tomorrow at 7.
Tomorrow at 7.
Or it's today at 7, depending on when you watch
Depending on if this is Tuesday or Wednesday to you. If it's Wednesday to you, it's on at 7. And it'll be on ESPN.
ESPNU at 7.
Yep. So, all right, go.
Wake Forest, this is a tough one. Just like you said, they going through the power rankings, but they had them at like 14 out of 15 teams or 13 out of 15 teams. Yeah, so they had a rough start. They lost 4 of the first 5 games, not against good. I'm talking against Drake and Liberty and teams like this. They're 7-6 overall. They did kind of come back to reality and win 5 straight against better opponents than the teams they lost to earlier in the season. But they are on a 2-game losing streak. Their last 2 games was against Tennessee and, like you said, North Carolina. And they had a pretty good game in North Carolina by 4 points. So when I went and kind of looked at what's going on, I don't know if Danny Manning's trying to figure out just his rotation or if he's just trying to figure out his team's niche and how they're going to win. But they have 9 guys that average over 15 minutes. So they don't even have a guy that averages over 30. And meanwhile, we have 3. So they play up tempo. Yeah, they play up tempo. They're going to attack the basket, try to get us in foul trouble. They're going to run, like I said, 9 guys average over 15 minutes. So they're going to run a bunch of different guys in and kind of hope to just wear them down and, like I said, get them in foul trouble. And that's kind of the route that they've gone in this little winning streak, except for the last 2 games, just because of talent or whatever. So earlier in the season, it just didn't look good. But now it looks like they're starting to shore some stuff up. But they do have problems with some defense and the way that their up-tempo goes. It also allows for other fast break points and stuff like that. And they do allow opponents to shoot 39.5% from behind the arc. So that's actually worse than what we allow.
Yeah.
And they also aren't very good on the offensive boards either, defensive boards, which they allow a lot of offensive boards. And that's kind of one of those things that we're good at. So it is an away game, and I'm sure that Wake Forest, the crowd's going to be game, and, they're going to give, a good showing. Danny Manning, good coach, and he's going to have his players ready, and he's, like I said, he goes at least 9 deep for over 15 minutes. So if you aren't playing and the effort isn't there, then you're going to sit down. So expect a game, Wake Forest team, but again, I really think that what we showed, if our defense can show up, then I really do think that we're going to be okay in this game as long as we don't get key players in foul trouble. And that's really my biggest concern. They got a 7'1" center. He is going to pose some problems on the offensive end, but he doesn't score that much. He averaged about 7 rebounds, 10 points a game. So he's not a Bagley from Duke by any means, but he is some height that is comparable to Chukwu and the guys that we have. Again, I think we just stick to the script and just stay out of foul trouble. And I think that we get out of there. Like, again, I don't think it's going to be pretty. I don't think it's going to be a blowout. Cardiac Cuse is probably in effect with this away game. I mean, I think we're going into the game as a 3.5 point underdog.
Oh, I saw one. I saw one point today, but
then it probably earlier. What happened was it's probably as people start betting in Vegas, then the line starts moving. So it opened at 3.5.
Okay.
But if you said it's at 1 now, then I'll take your word for it.
Well, that was earlier. I saw that, so I don't know what you're going off of.
Right.
But like you said, it's going to change anyway. It'll change tomorrow before the game.
Yeah. Yep. And right now, Ken Pomeroy has us ranked up at the 45th position and has Wake Forest that's the 69th position. So it's pretty high considering their 7-6 record and who they've actually lost to. So I don't know exactly if there was injuries or if there was some people that had suspensions or was ineligible or whatever. But Wake Forest is a better team than what their record says and who they lost to earlier in the season. So this is one of those games where, again, like I said, just stay out of foul trouble, and I think our defense can ride the win, but I don't think it's going to be pretty. And again, like I said, they kind of do the same thing up tempo. They play 3-guard set with they try to get opponents in foul trouble and go to the free throw line. And that's kind of what we do on offense. So It's kind of like, two teams that really aren't explosive on offense. I mean, they talk about tempo. Their tempo, I mean, they don't have as good of players as Virginia Tech, and their tempo can't be that good. So as far as offense goes, I see a similar offense, but a little bit more height. But again, less talented guards. And again, I mean, it's going to be ugly game versus ugly game. It's going to be, effort and competitiveness versus effort. And again, I think it's going to come down to little stuff like foul trouble, turnovers, just things like that. So that's my take on it. I think that we'll be all right. I gained a little bit of confidence, or a lot more confidence in our defense after this last game, and I don't see Wake Forest and their roster doing the same thing better than Virginia Tech. So,
all right. Well, after that, if we don't get back, you have the preview. It's right here. Saturday, January 6th at 3:00 in the Dome on ESPN or ESPN2. So you have to check both of them. Both of them are listed here. Notre Dame comes into the Dome. Joe, what do you got for Notre Dame?
I'll tell you what. I'm going to kind of keep it short and simple because I just saw news today that Notre Dame's their All-American, their Bonzie Colson, their All-American forward, actually fractured his foot in practice.
Wow.
So
I
he is
didn't
going
even
to
hear
be
that.
out for 8 weeks. He's going to undergo surgery, and he is not going to be available for the Saturday game. He was ranked second in the ACC, averaged 21.4 points a game, and third in the ACC with 10.4 rebounds, and I'm one of only 4 players in the ACC to be averaging a triple double at this point.
It's a terrible loss.
Yeah, a huge loss. He's 6'6", 224 pounds, but I compare him to almost like a Charles Barkley as far as maybe not as explosive, but he can get down there. He can rebound with the big boys. He allows Notre Dame to go with smaller lineups so they can have more of an outside shooting threat, and he is an outside shooting threat himself. So Matt Farrell, great guard. They do have, I think Rex Pfluger's still there. They got some guys. They got some pieces, but him and Matt Farrell were the key cogs. And I would like to sit down here and break down, game flow and the way that teams play and this and that. But when an All-American goes down with an injury, I mean, he'll be back. But when an All-American goes down with an injury, then you don't know what to expect from the other team.
Yeah, exactly.
So, and that's also a danger in one way, because now you can throw the tape out the damn window when it comes to scouting Notre Dame for Syracuse and Jim Boeheim. But
Totally.
But at the end of the day, I don't think they have. I mean, they might have younger talent, but as far as experience, being a leader,
he's faced the zone. He's been there. He
would have been the guy right in the middle, making the jumpers, making the passes. He's done it in the past. There's no reason to think that he wouldn't have done it this year. So that's really, really huge. And the fact that we're going to be one of the couple teams to face them, I don't really know. You can probably check it out here real quick, but I don't know if they have a basketball game before. Yeah, they do. They play NC State at home actually tomorrow night at 9. So we'll be able to get a decent look before we play them at home on Saturday. But yeah, that's a big blow, and honestly, we only play them once this year, so we're not going to see Bonzi Colson at all unless we're talking about the ACC tournament. And honestly, I'm kind of glad for that, because that guy's been his own killer for years, and Notre Dame has been a tough opponent. So, and I'm sure they'll still be tough. They got players. Matt Farrell he's a gym rat. He's a gamer, and Mike Bray, he's a great coach. But going back home, 315 students, hopefully be 2-0 in the ACC after tomorrow night. That's going to be a difficult atmosphere for that team to go in. And again, you never really know what that does mentally to a team as well. So.
Yeah, and you mentioned real quick, because I always forget to mention this, damn it. And every time, if I don't, I'm like kicking myself. The dome attendance for the game against Virginia Tech was 20,688. That's really good. I wasn't expecting that much. I was expecting more like 17,000, probably something like that. But I'm impressed with that. And also,
what, with no students?
Yeah, on New Year's Eve.
Yeah,
that's pretty good.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Considering so many plans and so many things going on.
I would assume. I mean, our next home game against Notre Dame, being in the middle of the day on a Saturday, I got to think that that's going to be. Mark my words, that will push 25. It'll push 25, I think.
Well, are the students going to be back?
Oh, I believe so, yeah. I mean, I don't know.
If the students are back, then I'm willing to bet it's going to probably be, I mean, I don't think we're going to have a problem pushing that, to be honest.
I don't think so either. Maybe I played it safe.
You did play it safe. That's fine. I'll go a little higher. I'll say we're going to push 28-5. How about that?
Wow, that's awesome. I like that.
Mm-hmm.
I like that. Going out on a limb. I like that. A little bit more risky.
No, I mean, it's Notre Dame.
Yeah, that's true.
They've been around, and it is a Saturday right in the middle of the afternoon.
It's an old Big East rival too.
Right, and if we win tomorrow, then you're starting off with a pretty good 13-2.
You're looking at going 3-0 in the ACC.
Pretty much, you're looking at going 3-0 in the ACC, and most likely being ranked. Although, to be perfectly honest with you, nationally wise, I still think that we're still being a little. I don't want to. I'm fine with it. To be perfectly honest,
I'm okay with not being ranked too, bro. Is that where you're going?
I'm fine with sliding under the radar, because there was. I don't know if it was USA Today or there's a national.
They only got 3 votes.
Ranking that came out but we were in one where Virginia Tech still got more votes than us.
Yeah, that was the last one. They got 6. We got 3.
Yeah.
And
we just
after we beat them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
It doesn't even make any damn sense. It doesn't even make any damn sense, but I'll let them take it. I don't care.
Oh, yeah. No, that's fine.
Our group text the other day, it was predicted that they might be ranked. And
Right.
I thought that was probably close to true. I mean, we've been getting votes here and there.
Yeah,
And,
but there's so many teams.
I know.
You know?
It takes so many votes to get ranked. It really does.
But there's so many teams that start ahead of you. And considering that we haven't beaten a ranked team.
Yeah, that's,
you know what
that's
I mean?
another
I mean,
thing.
we've beaten some good named teams, Maryland, UConn, Georgetown. That sounds good.
Yeah.
But, I mean, we could venture into saying that even if we were to beat St. Bonaventure, we still might not be ranked. But it's just because there's so many teams that start off highly ranked. And if you start off number 5 in the nation, and we start off number 50, you know, it's going to take more than 2 losses to pass that team.
And like you said, I'm fine with it. I don't care about being ranked. I remember the stress of being ranked and seeing where we're going to slip to after a loss or something. It's just nerve-wracking. I'm good. So,
and honestly, I'm about the game that rankings really don't matter. Honestly, I mean, it's just to bring up talk. Seeding. It's just to show to get ratings, something for people to talk about. That's pretty much it as far as I'm concerned. Because rankings don't mean anything. I mean, when you look at the end of the year when the NCAA picks the brackets, they don't look at the rankings. So it's not like they look at it and say, "Oh, well, these guys, they're 1, 2, 3, and 4, so those 4 are the 1 seeds." Like, no, that's not. This is just there's coaches polls, there's different writers out there that have votes. A lot of the politics go into that stuff. Like, I don't look into that stuff at all.
All right.
So,
well, okay.
Not worried about it.
All right, I hear you. I'm with you on that one. Okay. Well, I guess that's it. If we can get back after Wake Forest, we will. And if not, then we'll be back after Notre Dame. So this has been.
Well, what about those Bills, man?
Oh, the Bills. It only took 17 years. I'm happy for the Bills to get back. And
well, you know that we got most likely a lot of listeners, and we got a lot of people that follow us on Facebook that are probably most likely Buffalo fans. So
yeah. Without a doubt.
I mean, I've felt for them.
I haven't really felt for them because it's whatever
at first
to
it was
me.
fun.
I mean, I'm a Raiders fan, so we went 13 years. I mean, I'm not even trying to hear it. You know what I'm saying?
Right. I mean, as a Giants fan, I don't feel your pain, but I'm just saying that.
Please.
What? I'm just.
I know. Go.
In the beginning, it was funny, but now it's just gotten to the point where you actually feel bad for somebody.
Growing up in Syracuse, liking a team that's not the Bills, being that your team actually with Scott Norwide. That was the Scott Norwide game, right?
Yeah.
Giants Bills, yeah. Oh my gosh! Just think the Bills could have a Super Bowl right now, like so easily. 35-yard field goal.
Dude, growing up, I had a Secret Santa with my cousin who was a diehard Bills fan, and for the longest time, I wanted to get a custom-made Scott Norwood jersey made for him. But I always went against it. It was just probably just too mean for Christmas.
What's an extra point now? What'd they make it? 25, 22, or 23? What is it?
Something like that. I think he missed what?
He
27?
Missed no, it was a 35,
30,
right?
Something like that.
It wasn't really long, I can tell you that.
No, I know. I remember.
We're digging at scabs. Here we are. We were gonna talk good.
We were gonna congratulate them.
What the hell happened? Yeah, but no, I'm happy for the Bills. I'm happy for the Bills fans. The reactions in the locker room were great. Joe mentioned that earlier before we went on the air. And, the fans, the fans' reaction inside Dolphin Stadium, they hung back and watched. I mean, that was awesome. So,
that was awesome. Yeah, it really was. And to me, it really doesn't matter all at the same time because when you really look at the thick of things, it's like, okay, yeah, nice. You won. You got into the playoffs, but LaShawn McCoy got carted off. Yeah,
but they're saying he might be able to go on Saturday.
The only way he's going is if they numb that crap out of whatever happens to his ankle because
he'll be playing.
You don't get carted off and then play the next week unless it's a concussion and you get cleared.
Well, they numb your whole foot. He's going to be walking on a noodle.
Well, if that's the case, I mean, then that's the case. But that's the only way he's going to play. And they're going down to Jacksonville to play against the toughest defense in the NFL. So
yeah. Well,
enjoy it while it lasts. So,
oh,
I'm just saying. And also, just want to throw it out there. Kind of a story that I thought was hilarious because I looked at it every week 17. They have articles and things that they pop up. Adam Schefter, he had a bunch of them on Twitter this Sunday where he showed basically because of the incentive bonuses that players have.
Yeah.
So he gives like, okay, this person needs this many touchdowns to get this amount of bonus, and this person needs this amount of yards to get this amount of bonus, this and that. Well, Eric Weddle, safety for the Baltimore Ravens, in his contract, it said that if he made the Pro Bowl and their team made the playoffs, he would get $1 million bonus.
Damn, that's pretty good.
And not only did that last play that the Bengals had put the Bills in the playoffs, but it also took $1 million out of Eric Weddle's pocket.
Yeah.
So
that's pretty funny. I'm not a big Eric Weddle fan because he played for the
he's got a way cooler beard than you.
Hey, easy. No, he does not. He played for the Chargers, and we've been weddled. Let's put it that way. So,
hell of a player.
Yeah, he's awesome. All right. Well, now that Joe is aimlessly rambled, I'm just playing,
whatever, man.
I'm just
I
playing,
love my
bro.
Bills fans.
I'm just playing. Congrats to the Bills. Congrats to Syracuse. Let's go 3-0. This has been episode in the ACC. This has been episode 47. For Joe, I'm Sean. We're out.
Peace.
You just heard the Cuse Nation podcast with Sean and Joe.
You're so mad because I made fun of your beard.